Hello, and welcome to another episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. This is Beriathan of the Citadel Guard of Gondor, and even though we are technically ready to start the Morgul Vale and continue our leveling experience, we're actually gonna take some time to travel to Minas Tirith in midsummer to witness the wedding of Aragorn and Arwen. So I would like to begin by accepting this quest before it goes away, as it will give us an easy way to get to Minas Tirith. As Midsummer's Day approaches, the peoples of Middle-earth gather for the Festival of Midsummer. Word has spread of a great celebration in Minas Tirith, and all have been invited. Revel in the celebration of dance, merriment, and love with your family and fellows. And now we complete a quest. By order of King Elessar, the gates of Minas Tirith stand open to welcome all who wish to celebrate Midsummer. Come and join in the revelry. So this has given us a map that we will use in just a moment to travel to Midsummer. But let's also refresh our minds. You will remember that after the ring was destroyed, we received a message from Aragorn, King Elessar, inviting us to the wedding. So now that happened a long time ago, but let me pull up the message for you really quick so that we can refresh our minds as to what's the state of things right now. So here we go. My dear friend, I hope this letter finds you well and continuing to fight for the free peoples of Middle-earth in any capacity you can. The forces of evil are always arrayed against us, despite the victories or defeats of their dark master. And yet, I know in my heart that we must take what rest we can and cherish times of peace that we may steel our resolve for times of hardship. To that end, I desire your attendance at my wedding to Arwen and Domil. The wedding is planned for Midsummer's Day, and stable masters in major towns and cities should be able to bring you hither as that day approaches. I await you in the Tower of Ecthelion in Minas Tirith midsummer. My friend, let us make the most of this time of celebration, for our recent adventures have shown me that danger is never far off, and a time of peace must be appreciated, lest it vanish for good. Your friend, Aragorn Elessar, King of Gondor. So it's a very standard invitation, a very standard message to let you know where things are happening, and Garalith is also very excited to go as well. So this section of Midsummer, Aragorn and Arwen's wedding, you can do at any time you like. Minas Tirith, the Midsummer version, is always open for this very end, but it's very fortunate that as of the time of recording, the Midsummer Festival is still ongoing, so that we have the time and the opportunity to do the wedding and a little bit of Midsummer as well. So that way, both activities complement each other quite well in my opinion, and I'm very glad that we have the chance of doing just that, traveling to the wedding and doing some of the festival as well. As I told you on the previous episode, this Midsummer Festival is special. It's not going to be a Tales of Middle-earth, because the Midsummer Festival ties directly with the story we're about to do, so we're gonna do that all together. We're gonna begin by using the map, of course. So let's get to it, because this wedding quest line is not that complicated and not that long when you really consider all things, when you compare them to other parts of the epic. But even still, it's a relatively long quest line that I'm not sure we'll be able to do in one sitting today. So we're gonna get to it. First, we have in here, Minas Tirith, fully adorned with flowers and everything, looks gorgeous, as it always has. Here we have a Midsummer Reveler, which is an introduction of sorts to the entire place. So I think we can do this one as well. Welcome, welcome! Midsummer has come at last. If you wish to join in the festivities, you should present yourself to King Elessar. The king desires to welcome all travelers to Minas Tirith. It is quite a city and there's no good in trying to celebrate if you do not know the way. May you have a merry midsummer. This is sort of a welcome and introduction to the festival, as it will take you to some of the NPCs. But here we have Pilot, which is will give you the rapid quest for the festival. We're gonna skip that for the moment.
Needs your aid.
We're gonna travel to the high stables. That's the tricky part here, that the first time you do need to rediscover some of the stables, it seems. We are not going to worry about that right now, as we just need to find Aragorn in the Tower of Ectelion and begin the wedding preparations. So what's my headcanon for this? We met Arwen and all her committee in the Vales of Arwen. They are making their way to Minas Tirith. But it's not too far-fetched to believe Beriathan got ahead of the rest of the group, as it's been established many times already that he is quite fast when traveling. So he decided to come to Minas Tirith a little bit early and help Aragorn with the preparations. Which, if you ask me, goes also very well in character, considering that as a member of the Citadel Guard, I would assume Beriathan is ecstatic with the idea of Gondor having a king and a queen once again. Well, that's what we're doing today. Hail, and welcome to Minas Tirith. Midsummer has been a long tradition for my people, and I am pleased to welcome you to join in our celebrations. I have much to do, but Merilian will see that you find yourself among spirited company. May you have a joyous midsummer.
I'm pleased you could return to my city in time of peace.
Beriathan, my friend, I am pleased you could return to my city in time of peace with war safely behind us. Well, it's also my city, but yeah, I get what you mean. We cannot lower our guard overmuch, it is true, but Mithrandir and the Council of Gondor both assure me that the threat of further war is a low ebb for now. My mind, therefore, turns from martial matters to those of the heart, for a day long prepared is nearly upon us. As you well know, Arwen, my betrothed, travels even now to Minas Tirith, where we shall be wedded before all of Gondor, and she will be the queen of my kingdom. Long have we waited for this day. It is very important to me and to my love that the ceremony be conducted properly, but my knowledge of such matters is not sufficient. Mithrandir insists that he has an understanding of the rituals, but some members of the council question the depth of his knowledge concerning the customs of Gondor. The council therefore selected a number of Gondorian representatives to decorate the city and make ready the ceremony. The woman responsible for the wedding ceremony is named Rodwen, and I would ask you to lend her your able assistance, if you have the time and the inclination. Arwen will be here soon with her household, and I want all the preparations to be made before she arrives. Alrighty, we are gonna talk to Rodwen in just a moment. The name might ring a bell for some of you, and you will see why in just a moment. It's a shame we cannot get higher than this to get a picture. This is gonna be a little bit... I mean... yeah, you get what I'm trying to do, but let's see. I will need to see if I were remotely successful at doing this. Anyway, here we have Rodwen.
I see.
Yes, hello.
Things well in hand.
Beriathan, is it? I see. You're here to help me make ready the wedding ceremony. I assure you we have things well in hand. Rodwen appears visibly nervous and seems to be having some trouble meeting your gaze. There is something familiar about this woman, but you cannot quite place it. Let us meet somewhere to discuss the preparations, Beriathan. There is no point in disturbing the king with such details. Surely you agree? Let us find a quiet spot to discuss them. If you leave the Tower of Ectelion and turn north, You will see a doorway spanned by a garland of flowers. Slip past that garland and climb the steps to the wall, and that is where I will meet you. Alrighty then. So let us talk to Rodwen first. This is the guest house. No, God, lost. Okay, this is the door she was talking about, and these are the stairs. She is up here.
Oh, you remember me, surely. Rodwen, champion of Gondor?
Rodwen looks around to make sure you were not followed by unfriendly forces. When she is satisfied, she lets out a deep exhalation of relief. Beriathan, you remember me, surely? Rodwen, champion of Gondor. We met near Partgalen along the east wall of Rohan. My friends and I had gotten into a bit of trouble, and you helped us get out of it. I was quite surprised to see you again in the throne room of the White City, in the presence of King Elessar, no less. You asked Rodwen what curious road took her out of the wilderness and gave to her the responsibility of planning a king's wedding. She raises her hands level to her shoulders with an energetic shrug. Would that I could tell you. The adventure in life was hard, and to be honest with you, my friends may not have been entirely prepared for it. The road we thought to take north was crawling with orcs, so we turned south and arrived outside the Pelennor fields just as the Gondorian force returned from Mordor in triumph. Happy timing. We joined the celebrations, of course, and decided that perhaps it was safer to put our adventuring days behind us. We no longer had a minstrel, you may remember. Quillen decided to try a life of farming rather than our dangerous course. Well, he has given it up already. Farming was not for him. So we all came to settle within the White City, and through a series of misunderstandings and some ill-advised boasting, my friends and I caught the attention of the Council of Gondor. The next thing I know, Eastern is speaking before those noble lords and ladies, insisting that we are expert wedding planners all. So we have stumbled our way into something of a real adventure, Beriathan. You have to help us. Again.
What a relief it is to hear you will help us.
Every wedding should be perfect, of course. But the weight of responsibility for this particular wedding is even greater, for all the eyes of the kingdom will be upon it. It means a great deal to me that you will not betray our secret. With your help, it should not matter that my friends and I know so little about such preparations. Already I have sent them throughout the city to get whatever help they can. Here, Beriathan, I have penned some letters of introduction authorizing you to work on my behalf in all wedding-related matters. Bring these to our lore master Isteron, and he will tell you how best you can help us. You should find him outside the Tower of Ectelion in the Plaza of the Fountain. So there you go, Rodwen, you might remember, as she told us, was part of that funny group we met in the East Wall. We were trying to rescue a dwarf, which was a guardian. You might remember Easter and there distracted the orcs with a lot of glowing flowers. That was hilarious. So let us see now what is he up to.
You're here to help plan for the great wedding? Good.
You're here to help plan for the great wedding. There is so much still to be done, but do not let that frighten you away. I have often found that the largest tasks are the most rewarding, just so long as you do not give up before you are begun. You ask Isteron if he needs any help researching wedding customs, and he blinks at you, the smile frozen on his face. Oh no, I gave up on that, he replies. Tuvaron and I did learn some interesting tidbits from a number of hobbits over there, but I did not find their advice very promising. Their hobbit traditions felt very quaint to me, not at all more appropriate for such a grand wedding as this must be, but you are welcome to consult with them if you like. They are to the south of the Tower of Ectelion, I believe. You found the hobbits who helped Isteron, Frodo Baggins, and Samwise Gamgee.
How nice to see you during a time of celebration and not during a time of war.
You tell Frodo that you are helping Rodwen and her companions with the preparations for the great wedding, and he nods thoughtfully. That is very good of you. Aragorn is dear to me, and I want his wedding to be all for which he and his bride might hope. Are Rodwen and her companions up for such a challenge? I have spoken with a number of them now, and in each of these planners I admit to you I have recognized something. He smiles knowingly. They are in over their heads, just as I was during the Quest of the Ring, just as we were all. Well, that turned out alright in the end, so too am I at the wedding ceremony. If there is anything we can do, Beriathan, let us know and we will help.
There has been a lot of wedding chatter in the air, you know.
And I'll have you know, it's not the easiest thing for this Gamgee to talk about. Take that Eastern fellow. He spoke on and on about how grand this wedding should be and how it'll be talked about for years and years, and maybe that's so. But I can't help but wonder if that's not the most important thing. Maybe I'm just a hobbit with hobbit ideas, but it seems to me that the wedding should be just as Arwen and Strider want it to be. Does it matter what the kingdom thinks of it, or for how long it's talked about? Sam falls silent and sniffs the air. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Mr. Frodo and I weren't the only hobbits who spoke to the wedding planners. Merry and Pippin talked to them too, and when they finished they went off laughing, looking very pleased with themselves about something. It might be worth looking into, Beriathan. Those two are always causing trouble of some kind or another, and if you follow the smell of their pipe smoke, could be you'll get to the bottom of it. Okay, well, it's not every day you find the ring better and his trusty companion, so especially now that the quest has ended and you are the guests of honor. The smell of pipe smoke, I have not seen how to follow it truly, so I don't remember what I did to find it the first time, but I know where to go now. The fragrant smell of pipe smoke lingers on the air. Merry and Pippin came this way, and then they took this path. You have found a pair of amused hobbits, laughing and smoking.
Good day to you. Why don't you stay a while?
Good day to you, Beriathan. Why don't you stay a while and have a smoke? There is room for all. What's on your mind, friend? You ask Merry and Pippin about the preparations for the upcoming wedding, and they share a conspirational look before doubling over with laughter. A conspiratorial look, sorry. When Merry has once again caught his breath, he apologizes and tries to answer your question. It's going to be a real sight to see, Beriathan. It seemed to us that those wedding planners might not have actually been to a real wedding before, and you know Pip and I have been to plenty. We are really experts on the subject, you might say, so we gave Cucharon a detailed account of the most important Shire wedding traditions. It was the right thing to do, wasn't it, Pip? How did it go again?
Well, Harry, everyone knows that a Shire wedding, you've got to follow the traditions.
There are 4 elements that must be present if the ceremony is to be a success. The bride needs to carry or wear something old, right? And then she should pair it with something new, which represents the new life she is starting with her husband. Merry nods solemnly, which causes Pippin to break out into laughter again before resuming. And then she needs something borrowed as well, maybe a garment or a cloth or a small pocket item or some kind. And then, most important of all, everything has to be blue. The 2 hobbits start laughing again, and through their gales of laughter you can just make out gaffs of everything blue. All the decorations, everything, they've got to be blue. You need to find Cucharon before it's too late. Oh my god. I mean, I don't know about you, but at least my country, this tradition is somewhat true, in the sense that the bride must have something new, something borrowed, something old, and a 4th one, a gift. But of course nothing has to be a specific color. And here we have Marilyn. Okay, for the other quest. Well, let us finish this.
What can I do for you?
Welcome to our fine city, Beriathan. Whether you are here to celebrate for one day or you intend to stay until Midsummer's Day, I hope you find our celebration to your liking. If you should have any question or if you'd like to join our efforts to support Midsummer, you need only ask. And I'll do that at some point, Marilyn, but for the time being I need to focus on the wedding and make sure this works properly. In any case, we have unlocked 3 deeds for the Love of Midsummer Intro, Advanced and Final. So it's just completing Midsummer quests, and you will eventually end with a title and a frame. And we're gonna be doing that as well. I hope I am able to show you that on camera at some point. Once again, for the time being, we need to focus on the wedding. I'm fixing Merry and Pippin's rank as well. Oh, here we have the pile of decorations for Kufaron. That's not working well, but at least he got it. Everything blue, and we have here Belfalas, the Amphalas, Lamedon, is it? I'm not sure which. I don't truly remember all these emblems, but here we have them, all of them blue. The decorations are indeed, as Merry and Pippin suggested, overwhelmingly blue.
Not everyone is as familiar with our hobbits as we are.
Legolas speaks solemnly, but the son of Thranduil cannot completely mask his amusement. Not everyone is as familiar with hobbits as we are, Beriathan. Am I right to suggest that this must be the doing of a certain Brandybuck and Took of our acquaintance? You are totally right, of course.
Those hobbits weren't really wedding experts at all, were they?
He asks, staring wearily at the pile of blue decorations gathered from all around the city. Not really experts at all. There's a lot of that going around these days.
Was any of the advice those hobbits gave to me truthful?
Yeah, you would know, Kufaron. I need to come up with a good use for these decorations. There has to be something, but now I have a more urgent worry. Was any of the advice those hobbits gave to me truthful? They spoke of someone called Gandalf, a wizard they claim to be in this very city, and said his fireworks cannot be missed. Is it true? You are sure, Kufaron, that Gandalf is indeed a master of the art, and his fireworks have a truly remarkable reputation for excellence. You say he has likely heard of the wizard before, for in these lands he goes by another name. Mithrandir? Ah yes, I know of this wizard, although I did not know he dabbled in the construction of fireworks. Perhaps you can find him for me and ask if he will contribute some of his finest creations to set off during the wedding ceremony. I saw him recently in the circle of the city. Look for him to the west. He is not far, thankfully, for Kufaron.
My fireworks? Oh, I am sorry. I did not have the luxury of bringing them with me.
My fireworks? I am sorry, Beriathan, but you may remember that it was a time of war until very recently. When Shadowfax brought me hither with young Peregrine Took, I did not have the luxury to bring any fireworks along with me. You apologize for disturbing him, and the wizard raises his eyebrows at you with apparent amusement. Are you always in such a rush that you cannot wait for an old man to finish speaking? I said I did not bring any fireworks with me on the ride from Rohan. I did not say I no longer possessed any. Indeed, I have collected one or two such devices during the time since the war ended, and I have stored them in a small crate in my quarters. Now, there are not as many as I would like. It was my custom when lighting such crackers in the Shire to really fill the night sky with illumination. That was both for the delight of the hobbits and for my own, if I am speaking honestly. But perhaps the few crackers I have assembled will still bring some small measure of enjoyment to the attendees of the wedding, Beriathan. Go to my quarters in the high guest house in the 7th circle and empty the crate of its contents, and I will see what can be done. Alright, back to the 7th circle it is. Something that I really enjoy a lot, that I'm not sure I have discussed with you already, is how Gandalf's name physically changes depending on the area you like. Of course, that was something introduced with Gondor, if I remember correctly. When you meet Gandalf again in Minas Tirith, he goes by Mithrandir, and he is named Mithrandir until the Battle of the Black Gate and Mordor, as I remember. But the moment you travel back to the north, to the Daylands, then his name once again changes to Gandalf, and that's what it has been until very recently, up to the Vales of Anduin. Now that we are back in Minas Tirith, it's Mithrandir again. And I think that, if I remember correctly, when we move to the Morgul Vale, we will be going with the Gondorians. He will be Mithrandir there as well. Gandalf's crate of fireworks is in his quarters. Here we are. Here we have the crate. You retrieve dwarf candles, known for their angular shapes and geometric precision. You retrieve elf fountains, which fall from the sky like gently shimmering rain. You retrieve goblin barkers, which explode with harsh goblin-like cries. You retrieve thunderclaps, which have previously been mistaken for actual thunderstorms. You retrieve a few assorted squibs from the crate. Not that impressive, but still important. You retrieve a few handheld sparklers from where they rolled into the crate's corners. You are a little disappointed to find the crate is now empty. Yeah, a little bit. It's really fun. I don't know if you were paying attention to it, but the quest description here in the tracker changes every time you take a new firework out of the crate, and the text is also hilarious. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let's get back to Gandalf now. There's a lot of people here in Midsummer, of course. The festival is very crowded. It's one of my favorite as well. It has very good rewards, so I do it like crazy every time I have the chance. We're not doing the festival now, however, but this wedding quest is also very fun to do.
I am sorry there were so few fireworks to gather up.
You express your surprise that the wizard could count such an armful of fireworks as merely a few. When Mithrandir responds, it is with a twinkle in his eye and laughter in his voice. You must have never seen one of my fireworks displays before, Beriathan. This few will have to do.
But on to other matters. Some time ago, I observed our friend Gimli walking with one of Rodwen's companions, a dwarf I know to be called Roughly Broadshield. I greeted them both, and Gimli responded heartily that he and his new friend were going to the Splinter Shield, and they might be some time away. Oh? I asked them, and Gimli responded that they planned to determine the words Elazar and his bride should use to bind their love during the ceremony. We will not emerge until we have settled upon just the right words for their vow, he proclaimed, and I suspect he meant it. Perhaps you should go to this tavern and check on our dwarves, Beriathan. It will not do for Gimli to miss the wedding, and if he keeps his eye on the ale and not on the sun, he very well might. The Splinter Shield is in the second circle. Okay. You know Minas Tirith, it's a huge place, and without stable masters, it makes traversing the city even more time consuming. There are a couple workarounds, at least for this section of the quest line, so it's not that bad, but we still need to do some traveling on our own.
Sometimes indeed.
We gotta go back to the city stables, first of all. Once again,
How may I help you, friend?
all the other locations are logged, so we need to ride them. Thankfully, since we're going to the second circle anyway, it's not that far from where we are. A little bit, of course, because the first circle is the biggest one. And then when we reach the second circle, we still need to get to the end of the second circle to get to the tavern. But at least it wouldn't be as bad as, for example, if we needed to go to one of the taverns in the fourth circle, maybe. That would mean a lot of traveling, unavoidable traveling. So thankfully we only need to go to the second circle now.
It's a lovely day here in Minas Tirith as well. This, if I remember correctly as well, it's another instant space, so maybe the LOTRO team has programmed Minas Tirith in midsummer to always have these clear skies. I'm not sure, I haven't really paid attention to that, but I appreciate if that's the case.
Gondor needs your aid.
And it seems you only need to visit one of the stable masters at any circle of the city to unlock all the other circles as well. I will need to double check that, but if that's the case, I will be so thankful for it, because in order to optimize my festival run, do the quests in as less time as possible, I do use the stable masters a couple times, not too much, but still a few of them. So I would really appreciate if we could get all the stable masters unlocked by the time we get to the festival celebrations. Here we are, the Splinter Shield. I don't remember if we visited this tavern the first time we came to Minas Tirith. Most likely we did. In any case, I always enjoyed how we have in here all the shields, all the heraldry from all the different places we visited in Gondor, because that gives you a neat idea of how to organize them. I mean, you can get all these items as house decorations. I already have done that, and I've used these as a template for how to organize them in my own house. I also use the order in which we did all these areas as another factor of how to organize that. So that's why I enjoy about this tavern. It's, I think, my favorite tavern in Minas Tirith. It's huge, but it's cozy. It's a lovely place. And here we have Gimli and Roughly, which I think are not doing so well in finding the bows. Wake up, Gimli. Gimli blinks at you as you awaken him from his stupor.
Ah, you have found us. Hard at work.
Yeah, half at work indeed. I'm sure you were. It is true. All the folk here in this tavern have been helping us find the finest vows to be spoken by Aragorn at his wedding. Eleazar, you know who I mean. The ale here is quite good. It was Roughly's idea to reward every perfect sentence with a mug. I had better wake him up, Beriathan. We have so many good words from which to choose. You too, Roughly, wake up. Roughly awakens with a start, blinking to sleep and drinking from his eyes.
I have had an idea. We should
have the proprietor provide this ale for the wedding feast, as many barrels as he can spare. And that should be no small number. A wedding such as this only comes along, but rarely. Ask him this, Beriathan. Ask him, and it will be the very finest of celebrations. Why, if I have anything to say about it, it will be nearly as rowdy as a dwarf wedding. The King of Gondor should be so fortunate. How are you feeling? How are you holding up dealing with these dwarves? How long have you been doing it?
I would be pleased to contribute a number of barrels for the wedding feast.
It is the least I can do for the king and his bride, and I do it gladly. Gondor is in need of such happiness as theirs after so much war. The dwarves are right on this account. The drink will loosen the tongues of all those at the feast, and the guests will frequently and at full voice toast the king's health and that of his elf bride. That is my promise to you, Beriathan. Oh, Garaleaf. Once again, no, don't do it.
Well, that is settled. Now to decide on the proper vows for the ceremony.
Well, that is settled. Now let us see to the other matter, the proper vows to be made during the wedding ceremony. Will you gather up these papers, Beriathan? Roughly and I wrote down some good options, and all of our friends here in the Splinter Shield contribute suggestions of their own.
And now it is up to us to select the very best ones. Let me see what you have in here. Let me see if I can help you out.
These papers contain the fruit of our hard work, and that of the whole tavern.
Yeah, I want to take a look at them. Maybe I can help you with it a little bit.
Alright, let us see what we've got.
Gimli reads aloud from one of the papers. Your beauty is without compare, even among all the gems of the earth. That was one of mine, Beriathan. Do you like it? Together, we will lay waste to our foes, and none will stand against us. Now that I see it written down, I don't know about this one, roughly. What else? What else? I pledge to love and serve you in all things. Pretty good, not bad. My love for you gives me the strength to... To what? This one isn't finished. Gimli shuffles through the stack of papers looking for more worthy vows. Let's see. Tournament of Gondor will not forget Castamir? What is this? Who wrote this?
I don't know much about this name Castamir, but I do not like it.
I don't know very much about this name Castamir, but I know it has something to do with a dark period in the history of Gondor. Corsair leaders calling themselves the heirs of Castamir caused us some problems on the journey from Rohan here to Minas Tirith, and I know it is a name that causes Aragorn some displeasure. That is enough for me. I do not need to know the particulars. For someone to invoke this name now, today, I do not like it, Beriathan. Some villain here in the Splinter Shield snuck this paper among the others, hoping to disrupt the wedding. Find out who has done this, and we will make them pay for it. These men insist they saw nothing. And what about the women? They say they saw nothing either. Okay.
What is the trouble, friend?
I assure you that several of my finest barrels will be brought to the hall for the wedding feast. I am a man of my word, and I will see it done. All I ask is that the lords and ladies attending the feast know that it was the Gillian of the Splinter Shield who provided the drink. You tell the Gillian that someone slipped a reference to Castamir the Usurper among the papers of Gimli's table while the dwarf and his companion were dozing. Men speak of Castamir in my tavern. This is an outrage. I'll have you know that we of the Splinter Shield are king's men all, and have nothing but respect for his bride-to-be, elf though she be. I say that with all the love in my heart, Beriathan. If you find any who say otherwise, or even so much as think it, I will have them cast out upon the street, never welcome again within these walls. I swear it, Beriathan. Show me the man who speaks fondly of Castamir, the usurping king's slayer, and I will report him to the guards of the Citadel. I'm already here, you don't need to report them. I can do that report myself. I can even bring them to the king myself, if need be.
Nobody saw anything? Ha! I wager my axe could make them talk.
But this is not my kingdom, and I should not wish to overstep my bounds. Not right before a wedding, anyway. Castamir. Bah, I remember the corsairs that invoked his name at Pelargir, Beriathan, and none of them would be welcome at a wedding such as this. No, not even if they cleaned themselves up and wore their finest garb. They were cruel-hearted and evil-minded, and from my gathering it sounds like their idol Castamir was twice as bad. You should go tell Gandalf that there are some at least who might wish to disrupt Aragorn's wedding. Maybe our wizard could work some magic to sniff out these troublemakers and make them think better of it. I should say it's worth a try. If that does not do it, offer my axe in service of the task. That may prove even more effective than magic. I will make sure to tell Gandalf about your offering. I don't think that will be necessary, hopefully it won't, but I will tell Gandalf nonetheless. Now, Garalif has once again gone crazy. He's not moving from that spot, so we need to summon him once again. Please don't do that, Garalif. It's very confusing when you do that. Anyway, now we go back to Gandalf at the 6th circle. Yeah. We just gotta take the high stable once again.
Okay, here we have the Stable Master. Let's go.
How may I help you, friend?
High stables. Or Kufaran, what are you gonna do with all those blue things?
What has brought you back to me so quickly?
Has Gimli exhausted his store for love words? Or has he decided to save them for another wedding? It would not surprise me to learn that our dwarf has a poet's heart, as do many of his people. You tell Gandalf about the mention of Castamir that someone slipped among Gimli's papers in the Splinter Shield, and the wizard nods without surprise. Yes, I expected something like this, Beriathan. The folk of Gondor have long memories. Castamir's reign was the violent culmination of the King's strife, a chain of events that began with a wedding of which the populace did not approve. Romendakil, 20th King of Gondor, sent his son Valakar to make peace with Vidugavia, the self-proclaimed King of Rhovanion. Valakar did so, but he did more as well. He fell in love with Vidumavi, Northman daughter of the king, and the two were married. Many folk in Gondor were displeased with the match, believing that Valakar's marriage would lessen the royal Númenórean blood in any heir produced by the union. Unrest simmered throughout the kingdom. A child was born to Valakar and Vidumavi, and he was named Eldakar. The unrest continued to simmer until at last he came to the throne. Unrest turned to violent conflict, and Castamir, the captain of ships, brought war to unseat Eldakar. The usurper ruled Gondor for 10 years, until Eldakar returned at the head of a Northman army. Castamir was slain, but his sons and allies fled to Pelargir and Umbar, and the underlying discontent that caused the king's strife never truly disappeared. Will the people of Gondor accept the marriage of their king to Arwen Undomiel, the daughter of Elrond of Rivendell? The news you bring from the Splinter Shield tells me that some at least may not. We should bring them word of this possibility to Elessar, though it pains me to trouble him with it. Perhaps you can do this, Beriathan. Yeah, I mean, I will do it, Gandalf. I mean, it's also part of my duty as guard of the Citadel to report the unrest to the king, but I find it funny that you don't want to disturb Aragorn with this, and now you are sending me to do it. Anyway, I'm gonna do it anyway. Of course, I already told you some of it, I think, but every man in Gondor, every family in Gondor, every lineage was involved in the king's strife somehow. Beriathan's own lineage, own king, was divided by it. And Beriathan is descended from those who decided to ally with Eldakar. That's part of the reason why he and all his family are members of the Citadel Guard. If you are interested, I have the story written down somewhere. Might not be the best, but I do like what I came up with. In any case, I mean, I like how the devs were able to bring back the king's strife, and it's very relevant to this situation. I imagine some Gondorians might not be too eager with the idea of is their king marrying an elf, especially when you remember that Boromir, for example, was very cautious about going into Lothlórien. So I would imagine that there are many Gondorians like him who don't feel as happy with the idea of an elven queen. But of course, there's a huge difference between that and the king's strife. If anything, the Númenórean royal blood is gonna be taken to a new high now that they are united once again with Arwen and Elrond's line.
You have returned just in time. I planned to send for you.
But I see you have come to me with some purpose of your own. You briefly mentioned Gandalf's worries concerning the legacy of the king's strife and the possibility that the folk of Gondor may not accept Elessar's marriage to Arwen. Your friend raises an eyebrow at that, and his demeanor becomes at once more Aragorn than Elessar. That is not a concern of mine, Beriathan. Arwen will be a good queen, and the kingdom will come to accept her. There will be no king's strife this time.
Messengers from Amondine have come to the city, bringing word of a traveling party from the north.
Messengers from Amondine have come to the city, and they bring word that a riding of fair folk has come out of the north. Even now they draw near the walls of the Pelennor, and my betrothed is with them. go to the gates of the city, Beriathan, and tell Húrin I will be down presently. I would ask you to then greet the party from Rivendell and let them know they are long awaited and most welcome in Gondor. Yeah, once again, I don't think Arwen's blood is gonna be an issue here. I just think that some of these Gondorians need to take another lesson in history, and that would be it. There's no risk of a kin strife here. At all. We just need to greet the party. Recently arrived, and I'm sure everything will go fine. Nice outfit there. I hope you don't mind if I try to take a look at it. You know me, I do like seeing a good outfit every once in a while. Hey! Very similar! In fact, I did consider this shoulder piece. I think I already told you that. But there are different shades of black. So I didn't like that very much. But that works as well. I also like that combination. It's just that, yeah, I don't like the different shades of black. I enjoy a little bit more the consistency of doing something else. But what is this? A very well thought outfit, if you ask me, with a hood and everything. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I don't think any of these outfits will look good on Beriathan. Maybe these ones. Maybe this one. It's basically the same, but I'm happy with what I have.
How may I help you, friend?
Back to the first circle. What is Húrin? Okay, I see Húrin now.
The party from Rivendell is outside the gate. Might you bring them our greeting?
The party from Rivendell is outside the gate, Beriathan. I understand you are to bring them the greeting of the city, and I will await the arrival of King Elessar? Very good. These elves are known to you, yes? You trust they intend no harm to Gondor or to the king? Then they will be welcome here, and I will permit none to speak ill of them. That's nice of you, Húrin, thank you. There is the party from Rivendell. If you don't mind. I also wanna see, yeah, a couple of pictures of this celebration outside the gates. The elves nod their greetings as you approach.
Hail to you, friend of adventure.
Let my brother and I greet you as gladly as we may, for this is a day both of gladness and of sorrow. Gladness for the joy of our sister, but sadness too, for she has chosen to walk with her love Elessar, and her people will mourn to be parted from her. While we remain in this Middle-earth, Elladan and I will soothe the sting of this hurt with exploration and adventure, with combat and feats of martial skill. That is our way, and I know it is yours as well, Beriathan.
The journey was a long one, but we would not miss Arwen's wedding.
Let our younger sister hit the wisdom of her older brothers. Elladan gives you a playful smile. We are little more than 100 years older than she, but that century makes all the difference in wisdom, Beriathan. Ask anyone and they will tell you I speak truth.
It is good to see you again, my friend. Far from lands where it has been our custom to meet.
There are few occasions that might draw so many from the Hidden Vale to the Long Road, but the marriage of Elrond's daughter Arwen Undomil is one. She is to wed Elessar of Gondor, but that is not the only name he wore during their courtship. Aragorn he was, and is still, and while others called him Strider, that name brought laughter to her lips and amusement to her heart. It is a time for love's joy, Beriathan, but there is sadness in it too. A father's sorrow for the daughter from whom he must be parted. That is another reason so many have come south. For even amid such joy, their dear friend must lose something too, and that is a grief. My Govanen, Beriathan. We have come a long way for the wedding of Arwen Undomil to King Elessar of Gondor, but our journey is almost at its end. I have been chief counselor of Elrond's household for many years, and he has long relied upon my wisdom and advice. But what of this have I to offer today? There are times a daughter's happiness must be set against a father's sorrow, but how often do the sundering seas lie between one and the other? Rarely, perhaps, but the choice having been made, for Lord Elrond and his daughter, the answer appears to be always.
A time of great evil has passed, and now hearts will be lightened with joy.
Arwen has long awaited this day, but its arrival was never certain. Now that it has come, let none stand in the way of love's bounty, lest they risk my granddaughter's ire or my own. I assure you, both may be fearful. I can
I
imagine.
greet you once again and name you friend.
You and I have walked in dangerous places, but let us set aside the memory of them for now, for this is a time of celebration. That there may still be such as this is welcome indeed, though the time of my people draws near to an end. Okay, this is a very interesting one. As I told you before, I think the Great Wedding fits better with if you play it right after Mordor Besieged, but before the Morgul Vale. Made of Lions also seems to think that way, although it's not a perfect fit. What he mentioned in the forums is that there is no reference to Queen Arwen in Minas Morgul, and that is true. But here we have something else. Celeborn is saying that we have walked in dangerous places, and to my knowledge, the only place where this is true is a questline that will come to see in Minas Morgul. So once again, it's not a perfect fit, but I do enjoy the idea of having the wedding in the middle of all of this, as we are doing today. But if you would like to do the wedding, for example, after Minas Morgul, that would also work at some point. I mean, it's not a big deal.
My friend.
It is no small thing to bring so many across the mountains and to these distant lands, but for the love of my daughter, all here would make the journey tenfold. The defeat of Sauron has made safer the lands hereabout. The road was not difficult, and though my grieving heart tried to slow my steps, the light of joy in Arwen's face kept steady my pace. For all the knowledge I possess, Beriathan, I cannot solve this riddle. Arwen will be parted, from her kindred or from her betrothed, and none of my wisdom can ease the parting. Still, I am here, and would be nowhere else on this day or on any day that my daughter desired.
It is good to see you.
So far from the place of our first meeting, and with so much having happened since. I have walked for many years in Middle-earth, but I feel something I have never felt before. I am like a young sapling, my life just now beginning. I assure you it is a peculiar sensation for one of the Eldar, Beriathan.
I understand the preparations are nearly complete.
You tell Arwen that the Council of Gondor authorized a great number of plans and preparations for the wedding, and Aragorn believes they are nearing completion. When you tell her that Gimli had some suggestions relating to the vows she and her betrothed might speak during their ceremony, Arwen smiles fondly. I have already given the matter some thought and chosen words of my own. My love is certain to have done the same, but my heart is warmed by the kind thoughts of Gimli, some of glowing. May the words of our vows measure up to those of his devising. But is that my betrothed I see? Has he come down from the city to greet his bride? Of course he has. Alrighty, we have Aragorn. The sight of my beloved has stolen all speech from me, my friend. For so long have we awaited this day, and now it arrives. Can it be so? Speak to me, Beriathan, so I will know that is truly my lady Andomil, Arwen Evenstar, and no illusory dream of my hopeful mind. Alright, so with this we will go to the wedding itself. After finishing all the preparations, however, the wedding ceremony is a lengthy one, so I don't think we have enough time today for that. As I want to give the wedding the proper place it deserves, so that will come on the next one. For the time being though, thank you so much for watching today's episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the next one. Until then, my friends, stay safe, take care, good luck to you all, and I will see you later.